What's up, guys? Big Club 34 coming at you today, and we really need to talk. Today, we're talking about the 2018 Yenko Silverado. You may or may not have heard of it. It's kind of blowing up a little bit in the automotive media circles, and it's becoming a little bit of a big deal. It's a limited production truck. It's going to make some good power, but they want a lot of money for it. Everybody wants a lot of money for everything these days. Like, if you've looked at a car dealership, oh my God, Corvettes are going for over 100 grand these days. That's crazy to me. But anyways, we're gonna get into this and I'm gonna dissect kind of exactly what Yenko is, what this truck is all about, and then take a look at what you get and what my opinion is on what you get versus the dollar invested. And we're gonna just pick this thing apart, I guess, and talk a little bit more about it. So, I know this kind of gets annoying, but I also thank you guys for honing in here and smacking that like button. You guys have been doing a pretty good job of that, and I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video at any time, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe down below. And a lot of you guys say that you thought I wasn't making videos anymore because YouTube isn't delivering them to you, which I was like, gee, what a surprise, another YouTube algorithm failure. But if you want to get these videos and you're subscribed, there's a bell icon down below. I don't remember which side it's on, but make sure you hover over that icon or click it and make sure that it says alerts on. So that way you know when I make an upload, because apparently I've been getting notified that people haven't been getting my upload notification. So, without further ado, let's hop into this video and pick apart the Yenko Silverado. I'm confused. I'm like torn apart on this issue because one side of me is like, wow, that truck is pretty awesome, because it is pretty awesome and I can't deny it. But the other side is like, what in the world is going through somebody's head that they're going to spend 100 grand on a regular old pickup truck with a little bit of power behind it. I actually had to do a little bit of research here myself because I knew Yenko was this company that would get their hands on high-performance Chevrolet products and make them even better. And what I found from my research is that they actually used to be a dealership, and basically every Yenko package that you see on older Camaros or Chevelles or whatever is basically from this dealer as a dealer option. And somehow these packages became incredibly collectible. You see them sometimes at car shows, sometimes you see replicas, I'm sure, and these options that they would add to these cars to make them faster and make them better looking, to make them a Yenko, would improve their value by a good amount, especially if you have your hands on one today, because they're incredibly rare. To be honest with you, I didn't even think they were still around. I thought it was born and died back in the 60s and 70s, and that was it. And if you have a Yenko, you were pretty lucky to get your hands on one, but apparently they're still creating cars. One of their recent machines is based off of a 2018 Silverado, and if you guys have been following my build over there in that garage, you know that this is something that's naturally going to catch my attention. What they did was they took the LT1 architecture, the Chevy trucks and Corvettes and Camaros and all that good stuff basically have always had similar architecture throughout the line. For example, my 2000 Silverado has an LS-based engine, which, not exactly the same as what was in the Corvette, is still in the same family. I didn't even realize I had a 2000 Corvette as well, but they're similar engines. They have a lot of similar and interchangeable parts, and GM still kind of does that. So basically, the new Silverado has the LT1 under the hood. They took that and they stretched it into a 6.8 liter V8. They basically built the bottom end from the crankshaft to the rods and even aftermarket pistons, or their own pistons, I guess. Worked on the heads a little bit and threw some fuel injectors in it. And on top of that, an aftermarket supercharger is added, and you get to that neat little 800 horsepower mark, which is pretty neat by today's standards. When you look at cars like the Demon, it's right there. This pickup truck pretty much makes as much power as the Demon, but on the other hand, it weighs 7,400 pounds, I believe I read. So how fast is it actually going to be? Probably not insanely fast. It'll probably be a fun driver, but I wouldn't go out and necessarily race this thing right off the bat. In addition to all those things, obviously, with doing those mods, you're going to naturally want an exhaust, so it has pretty much a full exhaust. What I'm reading here, it has 22-inch wheels, Brembo brakes, custom front sway bar, it's lowered, it has aftermarket shocks, lots of badging to let people know that you blew $100,000 on a work truck. And essentially, to get all of this stuff, they want $47,000. So you're paying 47 grand for a built bottom end, a supercharger, and some exhaust with some nice brakes and badging, essentially. And to say that that's overpriced would be a vast understatement, because the way I look at this is it's basically like the Apple of automobiles. Like, you see this package, it's done, it's cool looking, people are going to recognize it, you're going to be, you know, held in pretty high regard with this vehicle. But on the same note, you could probably get all of that stuff and more for a fraction of that price. I mean, heck, I'm turbocharging a truck out of my garage. Granted that it's, you know, 20 years old at this point. I mean, it's a lot of the same concepts still apply. I would think that you could do something like this for more like $10,000 to $15,000. Maybe push it up a little bit more to the $20,000 range, but you are for sure 100% paying a lot of that money for the Yenko name, and that's okay, because, like, look at this MacBook Pro. I paid for the Mac name, a lot of it. I realized I could do a lot on a Windows PC, but I paid more anyway because, you know, it is what it is. And that's the same concept with this truck. And then on top of that, in order to get the seat package, which is pretty neat, but I mean, you would think at the actual price for all the package, the original base package here is $46,995, so 47 grand. You would think that they would do the seats for you, but no. You pay another $2,500 for seats and a bare minimum of $995 for paint options. I hate to be the guy that's like, you could build something for cheaper, because I realize that there's a lot that goes into a vehicle other than just going fast. But taking a look at this and looking at the fact that you're only getting a regular cab short bed pickup for 100 grand when you consider the price of the truck, it's definitely not something I would do myself. I mean, if you look locally, that's a house. Like, maybe not a nice house, but a fixer-upper with a little tiny bit of land. You could buy a house for the price of this pickup truck. And I kind of know that that's the deal across the board, and if you have the money to blow, then blow it, but I'm not sure I'd be looking in the direction of this thing for 100 grand or so that you would have invested into it. The one and only redeeming factor here that I would say go for it, instead of buy a cheaper Silverado, you know, maybe get a couple options on it and spend the money to modify it yourself. The only redeeming factor that I could see here is the fact that there are only going to be 25 of these things made. And then again, with cars and trucks or whatever, that's always a gamble. Just because something is rare doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be valuable. You've seen it over and over and over again if you've been dabbling in this market at all. So looking at something like this, you got to go, maybe there's an opportunity that 20, 30 years from now at Barrett-Jackson, I'll be able to double my money, but is it really worth it to drop 100 grand now on something like this? I don't know. I guess that's up to you. I'm sure that they'll sell all 25 of them and kick them out and people will enjoy them, but is it really worth it? I'm not sure. Leave your comment below. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section. Do you think that I'm being a little bit hard here on the Yenko Silverado, or do you think that the investment that you would need to get into a truck like this is pretty ridiculous? Let's hear what you got to say. Remember, like it up if you enjoyed this video at any point in time, and subscribe. Make sure that the bell icon is on if you want to get more videos from me and see this ugly face a little bit more. So I will catch you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.